Good afternoon. I am really honored to be here this afternoon to moderate this session with these wonderful young women, and it is my pleasure to, uh, to welcome you to the 8th edition of the WISER Wisdom Series. My name is Sherry Kennedy. I'm the Communications Director for Sustainable Energy for All, SE for All, and I'm here with these three lovely ladies today. We are going to have a discussion about energy access and the importance of inclusive energy access, specifically in rural communities. But before I start, we're going to show a short film on the WISER program and basically the experience that these women had within a community in Rwanda. And we'll talk about it on the other side. So.
It was a rewarding experience for me and my WISER Pioneer colleagues to travel together here to Rwanda and have this hands-on experience.
This course has been an eye-opening experience for me, understanding the technology, understanding the community, and then teaching them skills on how to engage with the community, breaking it down for them.
To really understand the problem that you really want to tackle.
You shouldn't look for problems, instead look at what the community can offer, so focus on the assets.
I was excited about sharing ideas around how communities can be more engaged in the energy sector.
This program has specifically given me a realistic insight on how things are done, technically and financially. The exposure was great. I've met a lot of people that I know that I can reach out to for collaboration.
Insightful,
Eye-opening,
educates you.
Voila. So this is a really sort of innovative program, and I'm going to actually introduce the panel. But this program, to me, really encapsulates what it means to build inclusive energy systems. And that means leaving no one behind. So my organization, SE for All, we champion energy access to ensure that everyone has sustainable energy access by 2030. The challenge that we have now globally, 733 million people still live without access to energy. A majority of them are in sub-Saharan Africa, as well as South Asia. So, and of this 733 million people, the majority are in rural settings, roughly 80%. And that's why off-grid is so important, because we know that this is the method that basically allows us to reach them, in the most efficient and cost-effective manner. So I am going to, these women had an immersive experience in Rwanda, basically in a small village in Rwanda, well, 433,000 people. And they're going to explain to you their sort of experiences and what it meant for them. And so I think it's perfect on Gender Day when we talk about inclusivity, that absolutely has to include youth and women. So I can't think of a better place to be than here having this discussion. So I'm going to introduce, first of all, these lovely women. I'm going to start with Fatima Khalban. She's a performance engineer at Taka, based in Abu Dhabi, UAE. And next is Nicole, sitting in the middle. Nicole Bahati is a professional intern at Africa Improved Foods, based in Kigali, Rwanda. And Nicole, I understand, also has another distinction, and that she is one of a few women in Rwanda who hold a Category C electrical permit that allows her to work with low to medium voltage. And she's also an electrical engineering graduate of University of Rwanda. Next, I have Madame Hagar. Hagar Abunawa. Sorry, Hagar. You told me before. I hope that's okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. She's a process engineer at National Petroleum Construction Company, Abu Dhabi. And she is also a graduate from American University, also a chemical engineer. So these are extremely accomplished women. I would like to ask them, I'll address this first question to all of you, starting maybe with Fatima. So to ensure sustainable development of communities, it's really important to have resilient energy systems. But we cannot have resilient energy systems if the communities themselves are not resilient. So, but in many countries with insufficient energy, basically the electricity distributors rarely focus on remote rural areas where it's needed the most. And so that's why this program is really important and other programs like it. So all of you spent a week living in the off-grid community in Gatsibo, district of Rwanda. This is about 1 hour and 50 minutes from Kigali, east of Kigali in Rwanda. And currently they have about a 38% off-grid electricity rate. And it's about 1,580 square kilometers, just to give you context. So Gatsibo district in Rwanda, what did you learn about the challenges involved in expanding renewable energy access to rural areas? Fatima.
During the 1 week WISER Cares Field Trip program in Rwanda, I had the opportunity to embed and engage with the rural community with the goal of understanding their energy requirements and learning the types of challenges the community might face on their daily lives. In addition to the different opportunity of extending renewable energy, access to rural off-grid communities in a way that is affordable, reliable, and sustainable for all. Engaging with the community in Gatsbo district, we have adopted a hands-on experience approach to learning and practice, which promoted energy access and community development in isolated populations. By utilizing some key skills like energy feasibility study, energy demand analysis, energy system design, community engagement, and then the community mapping system design and the business planning. This trip has broadened my knowledge in two different ways in the energy and sustainability sectors.
Great, thank you so much, Fatima. And then I would like to also ask the same thing of Nicole.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here and to be able to speak at the COP27 and to share my experience during the Rural Energy Accessibility course organized by WISER Kids program. It was a huge opportunity to a young female from Rwanda like me, and I learned a lot from there. I really understood the community engagement of being in contact with the community in terms of giving them the energy access to them. Not only that, we have had a privilege also to visit the house of a couple of households and try to stay in touch and to understand their social culture. It really gave us the sense of understanding we were there to create a sustainable solution to the community. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I really enjoyed to be able to work with other WISER pioneers because I was exposed to a great knowledge where we had an opportunity to be able to create clean projects. And not only just for the community, I'm truly expecting that if we would get more time there, we would have our clean project proposal also be implemented, not only for only Rwanda, the community area, but also specifically to go around the globe. And it was really an amazing opportunity to me that I really enjoy so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We feel your enthusiasm. It's great. And Hagar, over to you.
Thank you, Sherry. In rural communities like Gatsibo, which lack energy access, women are faced with more prominent challenges compared to men. As the primary domestic carers, they're responsible for collecting sources of fuel such as wood and burning it for cooking. Now, because collecting this wood requires a significant amount of time, several girls are forced to not attend school, posing a limit on their education and their future prospects. Collecting and using this fuel also poses health risks because the women, they have to go to long distances, they have to carry the wood on their backs. They spend hours burning the fuel, the wood, and are exposed to particles. So in order to address these gender-specific challenges, inclusive energy systems are needed.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies. I think they've touched upon some really important issues, and especially the clean cooking issue. It's something that we often don't address as much as we should. We know that, for example, in such communities, women are at risk for many things. Safety, security is one when they're fetching the wood, and second, obviously, we know that this causes death. Basically, we're talking about 3.4 million deaths a year caused by indoor pollution. And then also children are exposed because often women are carrying children on their backs and cooking in these kind of environments. So there are a lot of challenges. However, I think if we are able to reach these communities, there are tremendous opportunities. For example, we know there are several studies that have been done, and we know that when you give access to enough electricity to these communities, we know 59% of the students actually complete their education. And that obviously is a huge benefit to the community. We know that women, when given enough energy access, electricity access, triple and double their income. And that income, extra income, is used to provide money for their children's education, perhaps better food for the family, etc. One example I can give, Senegal is a country I know very well. It's my adopted country. There's a small village I know. The women often make snacks for the children in the local school. They grouped together and actually brought a refrigerator. And that refrigerator helped them to double their income because they were able to produce en masse, etc. So there are a lot of, I think, exponential opportunities to reach these rural populations, ensure no one's left behind. I'm going to go to, I'd like to ask Fatima and Hagar this question. So having access to off-grid renewable energy solutions, it can transform people's lives, as we know. In your opinion, Fatima, how can designing off-grid renewable energy systems support and facilitate community development?
Designing off-grid renewable energy system can support and facilitate the community development in so many ways. Starting with the fact that this system will produce electricity that is clean and in an environmentally respectful way, and it will be at a lower cost compared to the national grid extension. And at the same time, it could be like either solar or wind or a combination of both, which is called a hybrid system. But from my perspective, I believe that understanding the need of the community is crucial before investing or implementing any energy system in a community, because it's not about the community development itself. It's about hearing them out and serving their needs.
Fantastic. So really about demand. I mean, we need to know what their needs are before we can design. Ms. Hagar.
Energy access supports community access to their basic needs, food and water, education, healthcare, and economic growth. Deploying energy solutions that are in alignment with the community's needs, their priorities, their capabilities will definitely have a profound effect on their development. And to add upon what Fatma mentioned, understanding their needs is crucial. So, for example, some of the families that we engaged with in Gatsibo explained that they don't mind going out of their way to collect water, but they would prefer having a lamp or a bulb in their house so that their kids could continue studying after sundown. That is their priority.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think this idea of understanding, starting with the community before we build systems is really important. And to create resilient systems, it means that everyone needs to be at the table. We know women need to be there, we know youth need to be there, because they're all bringing their perspectives, and they're also bringing new solutions and innovations, possibly that perhaps we hadn't thought about. I was in a session this morning, and I learned something interesting. When we create energy systems, sometimes they can be misaligned if we don't consider other factors. So I'm going to give the example of Kenya, for example. So Kenya is, it's leading in terms of energy access, one of only 3 countries in Africa that are going to meet the 2030 target for access. So that's Ghana, Rwanda, and Kenya. But Kenya, they have 75% electricity access rates, which is very high and it's excellent. However, 1%, only 1% of the population uses electricity for cooking. Yeah, I see you looking. It's strange, right? So basically, that means that they're actually using, harmful fuels essentially for cooking, because it's the idea of. So then we were talking with a woman from Kenya who's in government, and she said, yeah. So we're designing a policy now, or we've designed it to actually bring people along with us, because women still have this tendency of thinking, oh, the food, it tastes better when it's cooked on wood. It's better. But really, they don't understand the harmful impacts, and it doesn't matter as much, right? Because for them, this is what we've been doing forever. So now they are actually going to be doing a gradual process, introducing them to certain kind of cook stoves that are similar to what they're using, and then slowly building them up to something a little bit more sophisticated. So I think that that's one example of why we absolutely need to consult with communities when we're building energy systems. So thank you for that, ladies, for highlighting that really important point. So I'm going to switch over to a question for Nicole. Nicole, we know that inclusivity is vital if we are to meet the needs of all the communities, right? Particularly rural ones with significant gaps in access to centralized systems. So in your opinion, why is it important to properly understand the needs of a community before technically investing in energy systems?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I would say that let's go on the side of a business. We all know that when you want to bring a business to a certain place, you really need to go through the whole survey to understand the customer needs or demands. And same case, it applies for the community as well, if you're looking for the community needs. And I'm really happy that my colleagues, they mentioned about the community needs, because with the community, you first engage with them. And engaging with them, what I mean here means to go and live with the people, be able to understand. Because for them as the community, they just get the time for you as well to be able to have the capabilities to be able to leave them out, to tell you everything. And that's what we're looking for. And most people, when they are going through a community and you want to impact the community, you just feel like, oh, okay, I will have to do the survey, like prepare the questionnaire, or you do with the interview. I think that one, like to my own perspective and the way I saw it, that one, it's more of locking them. But in order for them to be able to participate, to have the sense of ownership, they will be able, you need to go to live with them, to live their social culture, to understand what is coming in their mind. For you, you have a complete set of survey. So once you're compiling everything, it's going for you to be very easy to impact them even more sustainably. And I think during our journey, that was the key point, to understand humbly that the community, they are very special in their own way, because it's always good to bring them on board, to have a space. And even them, once you have the project done, you just feel like, wow, they just feel like, oh, I've been participating in that. So in some futures coming, I will be able to say, yes, now I don't need those people. I have the skill, I have the set. I will be able to just go and run the whole process. Yeah, I would say that with the community needs, we need to really understand their needs, but understanding their need is to live with them. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's very well put. Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
It can't really be stressed enough. It's about building trust.
Yeah.
Right? So they have to trust uh, whatever the system is that's being introduced, and they have to participate from the very beginning and be part of it.
Exactly.
And I think that's really crucial here.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to maybe give everyone on the panel, first of all, these ladies, I just would love you to give them a round of applause. I am personally very inspired by you all, and I was really happy to be part of a panel because I think these are the future. This is the future, right? This is why we're all here essentially. Yeah. So well done, and I want to give you an opportunity, each of you, to basically give maybe what do you want to leave the audience with today? Can we start again with Fatima?
Sure. I'm so grateful to have been part of this program. And I have learned so much, not just from the course itself, I learned from my fellow WISER pioneers. And it was a nice experience to be exposed to diversity of cultures, viewpoints, behaviors. And as an Emirati WISER pioneer, I believe that it's my responsibility to, as an individual, to lead the energy transition and pave the way for the future. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Nicole.
Thank you. I would say that through WISER Cares program, I was able to meet other WISER pioneers, and also I had the opportunity to learn about the WISER Pioneers program, where with so much excitement, I'm here to say that I'm attending next year a whole program of the WISER Pioneers, which is really a good thing that I'm looking forward to learn, and also not only to learn things to keep it like that, I will be able to go with it in Rwanda, and also to my colleagues who are even watching the event as well, and to be able to share with them to construct and build something that is going to impact not only Rwanda, Africa, and the world at large. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Pega.
To add upon what Fatima and Nicole said, the WISER Cares program was very immersive, very hands-on experience. It covered renewable energy technologies, community engagement tools, basically provided a very holistic understanding of the components needed for an inclusive energy system.
Fantastic. And I think it's important when we see, wonderful women like this who are young and who they're actually preparing to lead. So this WISER program, for those of you who don't know what it is actually a platform that teaches young women leadership skills within, sustainability, environment, and renewable energy sectors. And as you can see, it's global. But it teaches them a number of skills. It's a year-long program. And this immersive part of it, the 6-day program, was part of the year-long program, essentially, that they took part in. I really, really think it's important that we also look at action. So these young women, they did something that was quite innovative, I think, by sort of going outside of their comfort zone. If we all did this, imagine what a better world we'd all live in if we understood each other at that level. So I think that this program is truly amazing. I'm going to issue 3 calls to action today to every one of you who are listening, both here and virtually. The 3 calls to action are: 1, to policymakers and governments. Designing these energy systems, they should be inclusive. We know the statistics already, and we know that in order to reach universal energy access or electricity access by 2030, 90 million people per year will have to receive electricity access or connections. That's about 3-fold what we're doing now. So that's why off-grid solutions are really important, because if we look at a country like Rwanda, which started at 10% electricity access in 2010, they are now close to 75%. So I think, there's something here that we can all learn from, and that, this can happen. We can do this, right? We can achieve universal access. So I want policymakers and governments to really take notice and to really include everyone in the planning in order to ensure that we have systems that actually do work. The second call to action that I would really, really like to issue today are to corporations. Corporations talk about diversification. They talk about including all these voices and innovation. We're looking at that here. So my call to action to companies that are listening is employ people who are maybe a bit different, but when you employ a young person, these people are all engineers. They are bringing something to you, right? And you're getting new perspectives, you're getting innovation, you're getting loyalty actually, because these are the kinds of employees that will actually stay, as statistics show, right? So I think that's really, really important. And then I also wanted to mention, since it is Gender Day, I think I sort of should mention this, that 28% of the energy sector population are women. That's only 28%, whereas 48%, that women represent 48% of the total market, right? So we also have to close that gap, and we're really looking to corporations to help us get there as well. The third and final call to action I'd like to issue today is to any young woman who's here or any young woman who's listening virtually. I urge you to go to the WISER site or the Masdar site and have a look at right now they're actually accepting applications for this program, this year-long program. It expires on the 20th. The deadline is the 20th of November. So go there, look it up. I think there are probably people here today who can tell you more, and apply. Because I think training, mentorship, all of that is included. Coaching is included, and also to exposure at forums like this so that we can help you all become the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you. And thank you to the panel. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Okay, a picture, yes, yes. Thank you. Okay.